Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. Welcome to the temple. Every time when I see long-time members coming back to the temple, I feel very joyful and happy. Today we have Vivian here, also his husband, also with us. Also Vivian, your mother also, welcome to the temple. Yeah, thank you for coming. Yeah. Last weekend, I received a letter from a young friend who lives in Germany. And his name is Frank. He was here. When he came to our temple, he was a high school student. Actually, he was joined the student change program. And he came to Houston. He ride bicycle to the temple every Sunday. After about more than 10 years, he wrote a letter to me. So I feel very touching, and it's wonderful to hear from longtime friends. Today, I wanted to discuss this topic. Why there are schools in Buddhism? Do you have this question in your mind? Okay. Sometimes we say, oh, this is Theravada Buddhism. That is a Mahayana Buddhism. And when we go to temples, we do see different kind of traditions. Some monks, they still wear the traditional robes, like Thai Buddhist monk, Burmese Buddhist monk. But in China, somehow, the way we wear our robe is different. For me, this is not the Indian traditional robe for monk. This is the Chinese Tang Dynasty outfit. So something is going on in history. We have to understand those changes in order to understand the fundamental teaching of a Buddha. And also, we don't have to attach to some of the superficial level. We wanted to go deeper. Okay. Right after Jade Buddha Temple was completed, a few members, they talked to me. They said, Venerable Han Yi, let's label our temple. You make decision. This is a Pure Land Buddhist temple or Zen Buddhist temple. Let's find a label to announce, okay, what is the special teaching of this temple. We discussed for several months. Those members were so insist on this kind of a doing. Finally, I gave them the answer. I said, it's difficult for me to make this kind of decision, to label Jade Buddha Temple. Because today, we have opportunities to learn all schools anywhere, because we have plenty of books, sutras. We can go to internet to search materials. We can learn all kinds of schools. I cannot allow any Buddhist, any individuals, go to a big tree, grab a branch, then announce, I have the whole tree in my hand. You are grabbing one branch only. Another person grab another branch. He cannot announce that I have the whole tree. This is the whole tree. If we attach two branches, we ignore the trunk of the tree. That is not ideal for our learning process, because we have the opportunity. So that's why today I feel it's important to explain, to understand why there are schools happening in Buddhism. Yeah. After we really understand those facts, perhaps we can adjust our attitude. Yeah. This is my intention to have this topic for this morning. Let's imagine 2,500 years ago, Shakyamuni Buddha was teaching in India. He met so many people. People from the high caste, people from low castes, female, male, old people, young people, even kids. So Buddha was meeting different kind of individuals and also giving different kind of advice to those individuals. According to sutra's contents, we do agree that when Buddha taught those individuals, basically Buddha will always follow one simple concept. Give proper teaching to these individuals' needs. Okay. For example, perhaps some individuals simply ask Buddha, Buddha, how can I be a good husband, a good wife? How can I form a happy family in my life? Yeah. Sometimes Buddha will answer those questions, simply giving certain kind of practice to this individual. Basically, Buddha will say, you follow 5 precepts. No killing, but respect life. No stealing, but share what you have with others. No sexual misconduct. Respect other people's relationships. No lying, but say the truth. No intoxication. To maintain your good health, also clear mind. So we believe sometimes Buddha will just simply teach 5 precepts to some individuals because they wanted to be a good persons. They wanted to form a good family. Okay? So this teaching will be enough for those individuals. How about some people will say, Buddha, I feel this world is not perfect. After death, even before death, I hope I can go to heaven. I can enjoy a kind of environment like heaven. What should I do? So some people, they have different kind of thinking. Yeah. How can I have a better future life, like go to heaven? So in some teaching, Buddha will teach those people to do some more practices. You practice 6 mindfulness, 6念. You practice 6 mindfulness that will help you to go to heaven. In India, just like Western society, many people still trying to go to heaven. But today I wanted to say that the meaning of heaven in Buddhism may differ from other religious explanation. Okay. All right. So for those people, Buddha will give them 6 mindfulness. Okay. How about some individuals? They will say, Buddha, I feel I always have anger inside me. Other attitude will be okay. I'm a very diligent. I'm a hard-working person. Okay. I do take care of my family. But my temper is so serious. How can I deal with this kind of a problem? So for this individual, Buddha probably just simply directly teach this person, meditate on loving kindness. Okay, so there are different kinds of methods. Finally, some other individuals will ask this question, Buddha, I don't want to stay in this death and a rebirth cycle. I wanted to liberate from birth and death cycle, this samsara world. I wanted to completely eradicate my anger, my hatred, my ignorance, completely liberate myself from all those what do you call it? There is a kind of a word, 烦恼是 afflictions. Yeah, sufferings, emotions. Yeah, afflictions and sufferings. For those disciples, Buddha will teach the highest teaching. You have to observe, understand impermanence of things. You have to understand selflessness. So this is a very, very intense teaching. Probably during the lifetime of Buddha, we can say because different individuals' needs, Buddha will provide different teachings in those 45 years teaching process. Okay. But Buddha never mentioned that I'm teaching Zen school, I'm teaching Pure Land school, I'm teaching Huayan school, I'm teaching Mahayana school or Theravada school. Buddha never mentioned those names of schools. Okay, so this is it. Okay, let's understand from these fundamental facts about Buddhism. After Buddha passed away, when he was about 80 years old, he continued to walk near the city of Kushinara. Buddha told Ananda, I cannot continue to walk anymore. Actually, Buddha was intended to go back to his own country in northeast India. But when he reached Kushinara, he said, I don't have the energy to walk. Yeah, I will, attain great nirvana over here, near Kushinara. After this news spread, Venerable Kashyapa, he was one of Buddha's great disciples. He heard this news. Long time ago, when you hear this news, you don't have a car to drive, you don't have a plane to catch, you have to walk. So when they spread that news, a lot of monks trying to go to Kushinara. On the way, there was a young monk. He told Venerable Kashyapa, from today, we will be free because Buddha passed away. We don't have to follow all the precepts like before. We are going to be free. Okay, we can do whatever we can. We can take it easy in a monastic environment. So after Venerable Kashyapa heard this kind of a saying from a young monk, he said, I have to do something. So right after Buddha passed away for about 3 months, he called the first Sangha council. He invited 500 monks. Those 500 monks are all arahants. That means they achieved the most higher stage of liberation. There's no more fear of death. They understand the Dharma correctly. Venerable Kashyapa invite those 500 monks and get together in one place. In Chinese, we call this Linjiushan. What do you call it? A mountain. There's a cave. Okay. Actually, when I visit India, the cave was not that big. Okay. Venerable, do you want to come and join us? Okay, yes. Yes, please, please. I don't want them to be standing over there. Mm. 讲中文还是讲英文？阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛啊！礼佛，礼佛，一拜啊！礼佛一拜，阿弥陀佛！欢迎法师过来啊！欢迎法师过来，一拜就好了，一拜。阿弥陀佛。请这边坐啊。 两边都可以坐，来，请。你好，欢迎，没关系，来，请问法师上下。龙正，兴隆的隆，正是正大光明，正见的正。哦，龙正法师是从中国。
我从中国重庆花园寺过来。
重庆花园寺，请。龙正法师啊，请坐。你坐在上面，法师坐在那个垫子上面啊，可以。还有您怎么称呼？
哦，好久没见。
你是Jenny。Jenny 啊，可以，Jenny，可以。
上次到今天方丈回去以后，然后
龙正法师 ，OK。Jenny 就請坐啊，請坐。This morning, I think it's very fortunate for us to have Venerable Long Zhen from China to come to our temple, and also this is a Jenny. I know her for so many years. Thank you for coming. Yes. 好的，那我们就再继续开始。Where we were. So the cave was not that big. Actually, I can't support this council. Probably they have another place for 500 arahants, great monks, to get together. The purpose of this council was Venerable Kashyapa wanted to collect all teachings of a Buddha. So he invited Venerable Ananda to recite all the sutras that he have heard from the Buddha. Do you know in India, in ancient time, it was not allowed to write down the teaching of your teacher. You have to memorize it. Remember those teachings. So that's why in Buddhism, we try to recite sutras because we follow certain traditional way. Use your memory, train your memory to remember those teachings. You don't depend on books. Okay. Nowadays, nobody wanted to remember, those teachings because we have iPhone, we have the computer, we can go to internet to search. Actually, sometimes, if you can remember how sutras in your mind, you can think the contents anytime. Okay. When you meditate, you don't want to carry iPhone with you. Heart sutra. You just try to remember the teaching of the contents. So Venerable Ananda repeat all those sutras and all other monks. In case Venerable Ananda couldn't remember part of it, they wanted to support him. They wanted to use their memory to help him. Okay. And also another monk, Upali, Venerable Kashyapa invited him to be there to repeat all precepts, rules of monastic life. For monks and nuns, there are rules and regulations. Do you know for traditional monk, especially in Theravada Buddhism, how many precepts for a monk? 250. 250. In all kinds of details. So being a monk, it was not that easy. How you eat, how you live, how you wear, how you dress. There are details for you to follow. All right. So the first council tried to collect teachings of a Buddha from sutras, original sutras that we are going to have, we are reading today, and also the precepts of monastic life. Okay. At the same time, Venerable Pruna, Fulona, P-R-U-N-A, Pruna. He came late. He couldn't join the 500 council. Okay. He came late. He tried to get into the place, but Venerable Kashyapa said, "We are full. 500 monks are here. We are full. We cannot allow you to come and join this Sangha." So Venerable Purna was also a great disciple of Buddha. He knows a lot of teachings of Buddha. He can remember all those teachings. So himself, Purna, invite other monks to get together in different area. So we call this first council. In the cave council, outside the cave council, there are two groups. They try to collect all Buddha's teachings and precepts. Probably there was the first, the first 分裂是什么? Separation of the Sangha group. But all those monks were very gentle. They don't have too much self-personality. So actually, they still followed precepts. They don't want to put self-attachment on any kind of teachings. So everyone still follow, the original teachings and precepts, and also stay in a monastery or nunnery peacefully and in harmony. Right after Buddha passed away for about another 100 years, monks from east of India, they see certain practice differently. For example, there are 10 things they do differently from other group from West. They feel it's okay for a monk to store some salt in his room for overnight. Can you imagine just simply to keep certain amount of salt, very small amount of salt, that requires certain permission? They say it's okay for a monk to store small amount of salt in his room for overnight, because according to precepts, monks should not store or keep any food for overnight in his room. Okay, if you cannot finish, you have to share your food with others. No overnight food can be stored. Okay. Monks, elder monks from West, they didn't agree with this. No, it's not allowed it. Okay. And also, monks from East, they say, we have to fast afternoon. After 12 o'clock, monks should not eat any solid food. You can drink juice, but no solid food. But monks from East, they say, if the clock is past 12 and 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it's okay to eat. 5 or 10 minutes. It depends on the sunlight. Yeah. 一节两节. What do you call that? 一节两节.
One section at a time.
Yeah, you measure the lights by your fingers. If the sunlight is forward to the west a little bit, that's okay. Before 12, 15, it's okay to eat. Okay. And also, the last one is a little serious. Monk cannot accept money from laymen. But monks from West, no, it's not allowed. Even in Thailand today, some monks, they don't accept any money from lay Buddhist. Okay. But some monks, they do accept. So they have different kind of concept, understanding about precepts. Because of this, so Buddhism started to divide into two major groups. One we call majority school. Another group, because they are elders, we call them Theravada school. A lot of senior monks, they wanted to follow the traditional way. They maintain all kinds of traditional practice by themselves. But somehow young monks from East, they see the precepts differently. So we call this majority school, maybe more monks to support them. Okay. Then we call another group Theravada school, because they wanted to maintain all kinds of traditional practices. This is major separation of Buddhism, because monks see precepts in different way. Okay. Right, okay. These two schools actually divide into small schools. And from majority school, from Theravada school, finally they develop into smaller branches. And we try to count from the records. Some say 18 schools exist in those days. Some say 20 schools exist in those days. Okay. Right after Shakyamuni Buddha passed away for about 100 years, Buddhism started to separate into small schools until reaching about 20 schools. Okay. Right after Buddha attained Nirvana for about 500 years, then there was a great teacher. We call him Venerable Nagarjuna, Longshu Pusa Nagarjuna. He was a great teacher in India. Yeah. He started to use this term, let's be Mahayana Buddhist. We don't want it to be Hinayana Buddhist. So he's the first one to use this term. Let's be Mahayana Buddhist. Don't be Hinayana Buddhist. At that time, because he saw so many monks and nuns, they retreat from the society. They wanted to practice meditation, the Dharma, in the mountain. They don't want to teach other people's or ordinary people to learn Buddhism. They emphasize on self-liberation. Okay, so Venerable Nagarjuna started to use this term, Mahayana, in order to make a revolution. 改革是什么呀？改革什么？Revolution. Do a big change the kind of a phenomena in Buddhism. We have to go out and meet people, help people, spread the Dharma. We don't want to retreat from the society. We don't want to just emphasize on self-liberation. We wanted to help others to gain enlightenment. So he emphasized on the concept of Mahayana and also discourage Hinayana practices. I wanted to ask you that what is the meaning of Mahayana?
A greater vehicle.
A big, great vehicle. It's very simple. When you go out, if you say you wanted to go to Bodhi Center, you ride a bicycle, that is a small vehicle. You are a Mahayana driver, you wanted to drive a bus. You wanted to carry others to go to Bodhi Center with you. You don't wanted to say, oh, I just wanted to ride a bicycle to go to Bodhi Center by myself. You wanted to drive a bus. So when we drive a bus, carry others, help others to understand Buddhism, we call this Mahayana. Okay. If you don't, you still emphasize on self-liberation. You don't care about the society's needs. We call this Hinayana. Hinayana. But not long ago, when I was in Burma, in Myanmar, in October, because there was a group from Hong Kong. They visited Myanmar with me. I toured them around some places. We had a tour guide. He's a Chinese descendant, Burmese. He spoke Chinese. Every time he introduced Burmese Buddhism, he would say Hinayana Buddhism. Actually, it was not correct. we should not say Burmese Buddhism is a Hinayana Buddhism. For example, Venerable from Sky, what do you, from Sky in Austin, Didagu Siador. Sidagu or Didagu, okay. A great Buddhist monk in central Myanmar, Didagu, what do you call it? Dharma master, okay. He built hospitals for people, for monks in central Burma. He built schools for kids. He even come to the States to build temples for Buddhists in Austin. We cannot say he's a Hinayana, is that right? It's not fair for us to say in this way. Burmese Buddhism is Hinayana Buddhism. It's not correct. So today we have to change this. Also, at the same time, I wanted to ask you, can we call all Chinese Buddhists Mahayana Buddhists? Sometimes it's not correct also. Even in China, maybe some monks, nuns, some lay Buddhists, they simply emphasize on their self-liberation. Maybe they don't have the intention to go out to teach others. So we do have a Hinayana Buddhist in China. We cannot say China is Mahayana Buddhist country. Burma is a Hinayana Buddhist country. So this kind of introduction is not correct. Okay. Okay, let me use a few minutes to explain why we have schools in Buddhism. A while ago I did mention, because monks see precepts in different kind of concepts or attitude. Do you know, it was difficult. It was difficult. Buddha did taught monks, you should not store food for overnight. But once when there was a drought for so many years, monks was difficult to have food from people. You cannot have plenty of food like before. Then Buddha did allow monks to keep food for 3 days because different environment. If you don't keep those food, maybe tomorrow you cannot have anything to eat. So Buddha did change certain precepts from time to time according to different kind of environment. But in those days, we don't have TV to announce. We don't have radios. People's communication was difficult. Certain precepts, maybe, yeah, it was arranged in this area. But in different area, especially monks to go to Persian, Gulf of Persian, monks try to ask Buddha, can we wear shoes? Because the sandy soil was so hot in the daytime. Monks was not allowed to wear shoes when they beg food from lay people. But Buddha said, if the sand soil is too hot for you to walk on, you are allowed to wear shoes. So there are changes of precepts. But we cannot collect all those precepts together until monks from different corner, different area meet. Then they have different kind of experience from the teaching. So because of this, Buddhism does have certain kind of differences among groups, yeah, when they explain precepts. This is one reason, also major reason. Another reason is the way we see certain kind of concepts in Buddhism is different. Theravada Buddhism, some schools, they emphasize on Shakyamuni Buddha. They say in this world, there's only one Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha. So in their temple, they say, my teacher is Shakyamuni Buddha. That's it. They don't want to say, oh, there are other Buddhas. This is one concept. But in other schools, they will say, Buddha said every human being, if we study correctly, one day we can achieve enlightenment. All of us, we have the potential to become Buddha. So according to this kind of concepts, before Shakyamuni Buddha, there must be Buddha in the past. And also there must be Buddha in the future. Is it right? There are possibilities. Maybe one day I will become a Buddha. I'm one of the future Buddha. You are the future Buddhas. Okay. So both are correct in a certain way, but it depends on which one that you wanted to emphasize on. So when you go to Burma, Thailand, where you go, all the temples, only one Buddha statue, Shakyamuni Buddha. But somehow in China, we have Amitofo, Medicine Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha. Yeah, some Buddhas. Okay, that is different kind of concepts. And also, the way we select our own practices may be different. Some people, they don't want to chant anything at all. Chanting is not comfortable for some individuals. They feel simply, quietly sit, observe your breath. That is the most beneficial way for this individual to practice. Some will select this way. Okay, emphasize on silent meditation. Okay, some will say, I wanted to chant something. I wanted to chant Amitofo, a Buddha's name, or Shakyamuni Buddha's name. Okay, I wanted to do something with a song. Okay, so when each individual select different kind of a method, that will influence their practices. Okay, and some will chant, some will not chant. For Pure Land Buddhism, we have a lot of chantings, but for meditation programs, we observe silent practice. We don't do any chanting. So finally, we give all those practices different name. Pure Land Buddhism, a lot of chantings. Okay. Zen Buddhism, no chantings. Even you don't want to mention any Buddha's name. Do you know in China, if you go to a Zen monastery, in case you say Amitofo, the master will ask you to brush your teeth for 3 days. No attachment on any names. Okay? So that is a way of teaching. Some people will benefit from this teaching. But some individuals, they have to chant. If you don't chant, you have to, find a way to build up those energy, those diligence, inside you. So different method, different practices from different school. Okay, that is another reason. And also because transportation was far away from each other. Certain schools, they called it North Mountain School because they live in North Mountain area. Some schools, they call them West Mountain School because they live in West Mountain area. There's another reason why we have different schools, because people live in different area. Okay. Of course, if you follow this teacher at Jade Buddha Temple, someday we can form Jade Buddha School. Because of your teacher, he lives here. 像天台智者大师 天台 School, we use the place to name this school. Okay. And finally, the sutra I select Heart Sutra. You select Amitabha Sutra. I emphasize on Heart Sutra. You emphasize on Amitabha Sutra. Because of the selection of sutra different, we form different school. There are a few reasons. So in Buddhism, we have schools exist. Okay. Buddhism went through northern India, spread to China, Korea, and Japan, also part of Vietnam. We call this northern Buddhism. Actually, all Buddhist contents been spread in China, but somehow Chinese Buddhists, they select sutras, emphasize on Mahayana practice. So finally, today we maintain a lot of sutras related with Mahayana teaching. Okay. Southern Buddhism, they spread to Sri Lanka. If you study the history of Sri Lanka, in Sri Lanka, long time ago, monks, they did have Guan Yin Bodhisattva statue before. But somehow, they changed later. They emphasized on Theravada teaching. So from India south, spread to Sri Lanka, then Burma, Thailand, Laos, all those regions. We call this Southern Buddhism. They follow Theravada Buddhism tradition. So we call those places Theravada Buddhist region. Okay. Also, when you compare these two areas, Mahayana Buddhism is more flexible. Without what do you call it? This kind of ability, Buddhism cannot spread in China. In China, we have very strong Confucius philosophy. We have Tao philosophy exist in China. If Buddhism doesn't adjust itself, we cannot spread in China. Okay? But somehow in Sri Lanka, in Burma, they need Buddhism in order to form a base for their culture. So they can completely absorb all Buddhist traditions in their country. They still can follow everything. In China, the temperature was too cold. You cannot, wear those robes and show your shoulders. You have to wear shoes. So that's why in China, all temples allow you to wear shoes to go to the Buddha hall. But when you go to Burma, you have to take off your shoes. Even you are not reaching the Buddha hall yet. Outside the gate, take off your shoes. Different traditions, okay? Because in Burma, monks beg food from lay people. So they eat what people offer, But in China, we emphasize on vegetarian. Okay, so there are some differences. Okay, and also because in China the climate is different. We are vegetarian. In order to support your energy to practice meditation, you are not just eat 2 meals a day. Sometimes basically 3 meals. In Zen hall, sometimes they provide 6 meals a day. Not too much food, little food for each period of a practice. Maintain your energy in those cold temperature. Okay. So there are differences between Northern Buddhism and Southern Buddhism. I feel that we have to understand and respect all traditions because of those backgrounds, those reasons. Okay. And also we have to find a way how to adjust ourselves today. It doesn't matter Northern Buddhism or Southern Buddhism. All Buddhist groups come into America. We have to see in this society, how can we adjust properly in order to meet Westerners' needs in the future. Okay. So today, I wanted to share all those reasons to you in order to understand why we have schools in Buddhism. Finally, something so wonderful. That is the essence of Buddhism. It doesn't matter you practice Northern Buddhism or Southern Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhism or Theravada Buddhism. Basically, all Buddhists, they respect Shakyamuni Buddha. All Buddhists follow Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Path. All Buddhists agree on loving kindness and compassion and equality of human beings. And also, we wanted to understand impermanence. We wanted to achieve enlightenment. All those are the same. These are the essence, the trunk of the tree. We have to reach in this area in order to say, this is the tree. We cannot just grab a branch, say, this is the tree. We have to see everything, the whole tree. And today we have the opportunity to look around. What you have in your hand? To check on all the branches around. We are able to do that today. Long time ago, it was difficult. When you have a sutra in your hand, you feel you are so lucky to have this sutra in your hand. You just have the opportunity to study this only sutra in your hand. You don't have the opportunities to see other sutras. But today we have all sutras in front of us. You are able to see everything. So today there are 3 words for us to put all the schools together. Whenever people ask me, Venerable Han-yi, what is the core teaching of a Buddha? When we study sutras, different schools, how can we relate all schools together? I said there are 3 words, 3 studies we have to remember. The first one is morality. Precepts, okay. The fundamental precepts, especially 5 precepts, okay. The second one, samadhi, concentration, mindfulness. All Buddhists should understand this, okay. All Buddhists should follow 5 precepts, okay. The last one is wisdom, right understanding. Yeah, we have to understand the law of cause and effect. We have to understand the nature of emptiness. Okay, we have to practice selflessness. These are the core teachings of Buddha. So by thinking on those 3 studies, we can unify all schools together. Morality, mindfulness, or meditation, or concentration, and wisdom, right understanding. Okay, right view. So this is my conclusion for today.